Welcome to my channel. I'm registered psychotherapist practicing in Ontario, and today we will be discussing about depression and how to get out of it. When people hear the word depression, I usually hear comments like, "Isn't it just sadness? Can someone just grab out of if they try, if they want, and doesn't it pass if you pull yourself together?" However, depression is not just feelings of sadness. It feels more like the places that connect you to life slowly going quiet. And what's depression really? Depression is not having a bad day. Depression is not feeling sad after something difficult. Depression is an internal shutdown that lasts for weeks or months or longer. And oftentimes it's experienced when you are having negative experiences that are coming over and over again. My clients often describe it like, I do things, but I feel nothing, and things that used to make me happy now feel empty. I feel exhausted even when I haven't done anything. So there can be lack of energy. A person might feel tired, and it can be difficult to connect with life and to feel feelings that you were feeling in the past. And these sentences tell us something important, that problem is not about motivation. It might be explained by how the brain is functioning when a person is depressed. So what happens in the brain during depression? Let's step inside the brain without making it complicated. In depression, three main changes usually occur. First of them is brain's pleasure circuits slow down, and the brain has reward and pleasure systems involving neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. And during depression, these symptoms work more slowly, and that's why desire decreases, joy doesn't arrive, and life feels colorless. It's not a personality flaw, and it's a biological slowdown. And the brain switches to energy saving mode. A depressed person often goes into something like standby mode, and that's why it wants to think less, feel less, move less, because the brain is essentially saying, right now, surviving is the priority, and let's not waste the energy. That's why getting out of bed feels hard, and even small tasks might feel heavy, and negative thought loops become stronger. In depression, brain becomes focused on loss and threat. That's why many people might have thoughts such as nothing's gonna change, there is something wrong with me, and the future is meaningless. These thoughts feel absolutely real, and if a normal, not depressed brain might think about alternatives or see the situation from different perspectives, with a depressed person, it gets more difficult to think positively. And therefore, it's important to have support, and in the forms of therapy or medications. So whenever you will hear or notice these thoughts that are visiting you or somebody who is close to you, don't forget that this is the voice of depression, and it doesn't have to be the objective truth. And try to approach the person with compassion and kindness, not with anger or trying to argue with them that this is not truth. And what generally depressed people need is that just listening to them, being next to them, and making them feel that you are with them no matter is happening in your life. So why does depression feel like it will never end? One of the hardest parts of depression is it creates the feeling of this will always be this way, as if it's not gonna end at all. Because depression doesn't only affect emotions, it suppresses hope perception, and the brain struggles to imagine a future. And that's why you would notice that if a person is depressed, it's more difficult for them to make plans, detailed plans, to plan their day, to continue with daily tasks. And when somebody says, but you have to so much going for you, and the person with depression often feels you don't see what I'm living with, you don't understand my feelings, and they got even more depressed. And there is nothing wrong because the brain is currently operating through a different filter. But what actually helps when you are depressed is what helps depression is not feeling, telling yourself, come on, pull yourself together. What helps is taking small, correct steps. First of all, stop fighting yourself. Questions like, why am I like this? Why can't I do anything? Will just exhaust the brain even further. So, what you can try instead is asking, I'm going through a difficult period right now, and even this sentence can soften the nervous system, whether you are telling it to yourself or to somebody who is suffering from depression symptoms. And also asking yourself how, like, accepting that these feelings and challenges are real and how you would like to respond to these feelings and challenges. What's the smallest step you can take in the face of these challenges, and what are some things that you would like to continue despite feeling this way? And if you could look back from future where you have already feeling better and depression has gone, how you would like to spend these days and this time of challenges. And oftentimes in depression, feelings don't show up at all, but small behaviors can change feelings, the way you feel, even very little. For instance, oftentimes people notice that when they are forcing themselves to go outside, not to isolate themselves, to go for a walk, open the curtains, send one message, connect with people, they feel a little bit better. And it's called behavioral activation. So maybe asking yourself what was helping you in the past to feel better. What were some things, environments, activities, or connections that helped you to feel better when the feelings were gone might give you some direction and insights on what you can do when you feel depressed. Depression pulls people inward, and they oftentimes want to stay alone, isolated, but the paradox is that healing happens in connection, and sometimes just one person is enough, a friend, a therapist, or anyone. The voice that reaches you and understands you and can relate to how you feel. Therefore, depression is not a lack of willpower. Instead of criticizing yourself, blaming yourself, or the person who is depressed, it's important to understand that it can be something that difficult to go through and to cope with. That's why people oftentimes need support, and psychotherapy, medications, connections are not weaknesses. They are needed. They might be needed, and that's why it's important to support the person and to help them to get the required help. Depression doesn't define you, and the thoughts that depression is whispering don't have to be the reality. And how you would like to respond to these feelings or lack of feelings or thoughts that depression is telling you. And also understanding how your brain works, as we have discussed, can help to feel better and to approach yourself with compassion, kindness, and to encourage yourself to have the support that you need. And responses can change. if you recognize yourself in this video, please notice that this state is temporary. It's not going to last forever, and this weight can be carried. And this darkness is not something you have to face alone. It's not going to last forever. And as a psychotherapist, I can say this with confidence that depressed brain doesn't lose its ability to heal, and it simply needs time, safety, and the right support. If uh, if this is how you are feeling right now, you are not alone, and you are already taking a first step listening to this video. And if this resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe and to like the video. And if you have further questions, you are always welcome to leave your questions in the comments. And in this channel, we will continue to talk about the mind, emotions, how the brain works and reacts to certain situations, experiences, difficult life periods, and in a more understandable, more human way. And in the next video, we'll talk about anxiety and what you can do in order to support yourself if you are feeling anxious. I hope this time was useful for you. Don't forget to listen to other videos as well. Thank you for coming and being here.